we're here with you guys. We've seen the trailer. What do you want to know? And before you ask any questions, I'll tell you one thing. It has been reported by people that influencers were flown in to CinemaCon, which is fine. CinemaCon has a right. If the studios want to pay to have people there, kind of like a cheering section, like when you go to see your sports team and it's an out-of-town game and maybe you drive to Phoenix to cheer on your team. It's like bringing in people that are going to cheer. We were sitting next to, Alan and I, next to a group of people that whooped and hollered in an over-the-top way during Disney and Marvel presentations.
Yeah.
That was, it felt fake. It felt super fake.
Were they filming themselves while they were doing that?
No. Not
yeah, if you see some of the videos, it was like, this is a little over the top. I get it. We're excited, but these are people in the business. Okay. So
yeah, but dude, I mean, again, they have a lot to lose, man. And I'm talking about Disney. I'm not even talking about Warner Brothers and the other studios. Disney has a lot to lose. So yeah, they're doing everything they can to get hype for this movie, man. Because I mean, if you look at what's happening with Grogu and Mando, no one cares. No one's even talking about it, right? They can't afford that with Doomsday 2. People need to be talking about Doomsday. So if they got to hire a little cheering section to go in there and hype up the movie, then that's what they got to do, man. But I mean, if you look at all the layoffs, they can't afford. This movie has to be like easily their bestseller. It has to be.
Well, it feels also like, I mean, Dune Part 3, if you made listed the 5 best presentations and big hype movie, Dune Part 3 was one of those 5 that we saw. Yeah. And there is palpable like excitement and hype for it.
And you might be a little biased too.
I'm a little biased. That's okay. But others have said it,
But others also, like, there's no pressure on Dune to succeed, right? Not in the same way there is for Doomsday. I mean, yeah, obviously Warner Brothers wants Dune to succeed, but there's like the degree of pressure is completely different.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a $1 billion blockbuster. That pressure's off.
No, it doesn't need to be $1 billion. It just need to be $2 billion to break even, fucking Doomsday.
I'm sorry. I thought we were talking Dune.
Did Dr. Doom stop Thor with one hand, and is he using a British accent?
With 2 hands, and yes.
Oh, so it wasn't fingers. Didn't I saw?
No, it wasn't fingers.
Fingers.
It was like a real battle. You wouldn't use your fingers in a real battle when you have 2 hands.
How would you describe the accent?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's not, he's not Tony Stark.
It said heavy British is how it was described.
Yeah, well, let's see Robert Downey Jr. You and I were in the balcony, Alan.
Yeah.
So we did not see this view. This is RDJ entering the Coliseum at Caesars. Here he is. Let's watch this real quick.
Oh, there we are.
My God, here we are. CinemaCon, it's on! It's on!
That is a shiny suit, man.
Yeah, look, being in the room, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But people were way over the top when they were, when they were going through this whole presentation.
I mean, you got to hand it to Warner Brothers to not bring in influencers to not respond during Supergirl.
What's funny is Supergirl got the weakest reaction of almost everything that we saw.
Yeah.
So but the big thing that not enough people are talking about is that they've invented this thing called Infinity Vision, which is like, because they don't have IMAX screens, they're created a fake new premium format that already is your local theater. They're going to give certification to certain screens that are, and they're branding it Infinity Vision. It's
All,
not
all that tells me is they have no faith in this movie.
exactly.
Well,
And
it's
the other
their
thing-
it's their response to Dune Part 3 getting all of the IMAX screens for like the first 3 weekends. So they had to invent something and make it seem as if like they're building theaters, which a lot of people thought that they were building movie theaters and saying that, "Oh, look, this is like Disney Infinity Vision," and it's like, no, it's not. They're just recommending which theaters to
Yeah.
go watch Doomsday at.
I can guarantee you no theater is going to spend money to get Infinity Vision certified.
I mean, Cinemark has Cinemark XD. It's just the bigger screen and sound. And now I'm spoiled. And like when they do re-releases, if it's on the OG small ones, I don't really want to watch it. I'm
Mhm.
assuming they're just talking about those, and then they'll just give it their
Yeah.
seal of approval.
Well,
You're
they said
exactly
the
right.
three
Disney
criteria
could've-
is the size of your screen, whether you have minimum laser projection, and then it's your sound system.
Size matters. I heard you.
Well, I was gonna say,
Well-
I mean, Doomsday could have had an IMAX release if they had, released like a month earlier, like in November or October. They could have had their IMAX
Well,
screenings.
it's very clear to us that the date is not changing.
yeah, they're
Right.
steadfast. I have a couple predictions, but just to let you know, finish up the Infinity Vision thing. They already brand screens like at the AMC Burbank 16. They have your IMAX, right? Then they'll have IMAX 70 millimeter. They have the Dolby Theater, which has reclining seats and the sound and Dolby image. They've got the laser, the XD, the Screen X. They already have branding because it's proven people will pay for premium format screens. Infinity Vision is a completely made up thing.
Yeah.
So, and the first release in Infinity Vision will be Avengers Doomsday in September, where they will have additional new footage to tie in with Doomsday. So Endgame is coming out.
Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame. Sorry.
Mhm.
Endgame.
Endgame is coming out in September in Infinity Vision with never before seen footage, which I believe they're going to have like a new post-credit scene to tie in directly with Doomsday. So
Yeah.
it'll be it's a dry run for this format.
They made it
could-
seem like it was
Because
deleted.
remember, now it leads straight into Doomsday. Endgame leads straight into Doomsday now.
Yeah, it's not never before seen. It's just we just recently shot.
right. Right.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. They
exactly.
made it seem like it was deleted scenes that they're just adding back into it, but then another one made it seem like no, it's specific scenes they shot during Doomsday that are in the period of Endgame, like it's flashbacks, sort of, that they're now adding so it bridges better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So they're going to try this out in September. We'll see. I have a prediction that they will do because look, announcing like the Odyssey announced ticket sales a year in advance. Okay. So opening weekend and on premium 70 millimeter IMAX, those tickets are gone. They're already sold same way, 70 millimeter IMAX for Dune Part 3. They haven't announced tickets on sale yet for Doomsday. I predict they'll do early fan screenings on the 11th because that date is open. There's nothing. Jumanji moved from December 11th to the 25th. So
Can we
there's
clarify something about Doomsday though? 'Cause
Please.
I keep seeing everyone like, fucking MCU, they're ignoring phase 4 and 5. It's like, I think that's funny, but no, they're not. It's just picking up the story after Endgame with characters from 4 and 5. If they were ignoring phase 4 and 5, there would be no Shuri and new Avengers and all of that shit.
Yeah,
Well,
need I remind you, Gambit and Shang-Chi are going to have a fight.
I can't.
How did
wait.
that look?
I mean,
it was, okay.
a
Was
face
it just
up.
like a
It was
couple of
face-off.
seconds that go by?
It was a
Money's on
face-off
Gambit.
between the two of them.
couple seconds. Yeah, I mean, like the
They had their
teaser,
glowy weapons. That's
I'm just
Yeah.
it's really surprising they did not release it. But here's another thing to look for. When they do release the Doomsday trailer, there'll be a countdown. You'll know they'll do the teaser for the teaser, like 15 seconds. Tomorrow, they'll have a countdown clock for the trailer up, and then it'll be a premiere, right?
Doom comes.
people-
Phrasing.
Yeah, like that's how they will release it. But I actually think this is smart. This gives them more hype because they have dropped the ball a lot. And I will say, they feel kind of desperate. Alan, you were there.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of Star Wars when J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy took over. They're trying to manufacture excitement for something they really didn't plan well.
Yeah.
You know what though? They were warned over and over, man. They laughed at us. They tried to belittle us, call us names, and say all this other shit about how we don't matter. They brought this on themselves. So, you know, if the movie's good, that's cool. But if they fail, I'm good with that too. I'm perfectly fine with them failing.
I'm curious about the trailer. At this last part, from like the trailer description says Steve Rogers approaches Thor and says, "Hey pal." Thor says it's not possible. Steve reaches for Mjolnir and leaves, and it leaves Thor's hand coming to his.
Yes.
How is
Accurate.
Steve Rogers dressed?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, civilian
Rogers.
clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Civilian
street
clothes.
clothes, just street clothes. He's got a beard, and he just holds up his hand, and Mjolnir goes to his hand.
The thing
They're
is,
never
though,
gonna
like,
call him Captain.
they have a reason. They have a reason to be nervous about this, man. Like, Endgame and Infinity War had 10 years of prep going into it, man. This had nothing. They were fucking with Kang before, like 2 years ago, right? So they have a lot to be worried about, man. Literally, they're just throwing people in this movie, right? And maybe there's a story. But I'm assuming it's not going to be a great story, considering they've only had 2 years to kind of really get this thing going. I think they have a reason to be nervous about this.
You know, to your point though, the first few phases, every movie was a build up to Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You know, there are clues. You know, we knew who the villain was. We knew the Infinity Stones and the place that they were going to play. And then Thor Ragnarok, whether you liked it or not, set up the early moments just as Infinity War began. You know, there was excitement being built, and none of that is here. And again, like I say, it just feels like Star Wars, the sequels, bad planning or zero planning. We're just shooting from our hip right now.
Well,
Right.
it was an experiment. I feel like those last couple of phases were experiments for Marvel. Let's see how this does, because there really was no overarching story. Now, some people have said like, oh, they introduced the multiverse. Okay, but how are they using that? And where is it going? What is it leading to for Doomsday? And like literally nothing. When I'm watching these shows, there's just like no overarching story. There's nothing leading to anything. It really does feel experimental.
Well,
And that's why like the first few phases up until Endgame were so good, because you knew that all roads led to Thanos. Like that's it. Like that is that final battle with Thanos. And then Infinity War was outstanding. You know, we had our heroes just completely at a loss because they lost, and we saw them lose and we felt for them. And then, you know, in Endgame, you know, they came back. And so like that was their goal, was to defeat Thanos, whatever it took, right? Whatever it takes. And so now what what is going on? Like there's really nothing.
It's whatever
leading
it
up
takes
to that.
again.
Nothing.
Oh, here's I have an idea, and Marvel, you're welcome to steal it. One of the best kind of side characters from the Ant-Man movies is the character of Lewis, played by, is it Michael Pena, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
And when he would tell that kind of weird story that connected kind of to, he could just say, oh, well, let me tell you. And he just explains away every little loose thread. There's about, there's more than 10 different loose threads.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Shang-Chi's rings contacting space. You've
'cause
got,
there's cosmic. By the way, isn't like the whole point of this that they're having incursions with, like, the multiverse is the direct reason why this exists, because they did all these fucking worlds,
Right.
and now they have to do the incursion storyline.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I feel like we
That's
know
what we
exactly
understand
what
from
the
Robert.
story is.
you could have Lewis, who ends up being revealed to be the Watcher, explain all these things away. It would be, I mean, you could do that. You could do it. Marvel, you could figure out a way to do that and make it funny.
Dude, when the CW did Crisis on Infinite Earths, it was more coherent than what I'm getting from Doomsday right now, and that was a CW production. I think Disney has a big reason to be afraid right now.